I'm Dr. Elizabeth Harwood, music historian and lifelong devotee of opera. I've spent decades studying the art form, but nothing could have prepared me for what I witnessed that night. Opera had always been a world of rules and tradition. For centuries, we believed we knew the limits of the human voice. But on that fateful evening in 1997, everything we thought we knew was about to change. The opera was the fifth element, a sci-fi spectacle that pushed boundaries in every aspect of its production. They called it the Diva Dance, a piece rumored to be so complex, so demanding, that some claimed it couldn't be performed by a human voice. As I took my seat in the opera house that night, I could feel the electricity in the air, the collective breath of an audience on the edge of their seats. The curtain rose, revealing a stage bathed in otherworldly light. And then, she appeared. The diva, a vision of otherworldly beauty and grace, stood before us. Clad in futuristic garb, the diva stood center stage, her presence commanding absolute silence. As the first notes filled the air, it was clear this was no ordinary performance. This was something entirely new. Her voice danced nimbly through the intricate melody, each phrase more challenging than the last. We watched in awe as she navigated leaps and runs that seemed to defy the very laws of music. And then, in a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, she hit it. A note so high, so pure, it felt like the very fabric of reality was vibrating. Time stood still. In that instant, centuries of operatic tradition were shattered. As the final notes faded, there was a moment of stunned silence, and then the theater erupted. People leapt to their feet, cheering and weeping. But as analysis after analysis confirmed, what we had heard that night was indeed a human voice, pushed to its absolute limits and beyond. It opened doors to new forms of expression, inspiring artists across genres to push the boundaries of their craft. Composers began writing pieces that would have been considered impossible just years before. Singers started exploring new techniques, expanding their ranges in ways that would have once been thought dangerous or even laughable. The impact of that performance rippled out far beyond the world of opera. It challenged us to question our assumptions, not just about music, but about human potential itself. We began to see the world through new eyes, our minds open to possibilities we had never before imagined. Years later, the Diva Dance remains a watershed moment in musical history. It stands as a testament to the power of art to surprise us, to move us, to show us new possibilities. In pushing past what we think is possible, we open ourselves to new worlds of beauty and expression. The Diva Dance taught us that in art, as in life, our only true limits are the ones we impose upon ourselves. And so, whenever I hear an opera now, I listen with new ears, always hoping, always wondering, what impossible beauty might I hear next?
Imagine a world bursting with color. Flying cars zip through towering cityscapes, a flame-haired hero, a mysterious woman, and the fate of the universe hang in the balance. This is the vibrant, chaotic setting of Luc Besson's 1997 film, The Fifth Element. It is a film that delights in breaking rules, blending science fiction, action, and comedy into something entirely new. And at its heart, in a moment of unexpected stillness and awe, we find one of modern cinema's most unforgettable musical performances. The scene is set on a luxury cruise liner floating in the vastness of space. Here we meet the diva Plavalaguna, a towering, blue-skinned alien with a voice that is said to hold the secrets to saving the world. She is not just a character, she is an experience, a living piece of art who embodies the film's strange and wonderful spirit. When the diva takes the stage, the audience, both on screen and in the cinema, expects something extraordinary. What they receive is something beyond imagination. The performance that follows, known as the Diva Dance, is not merely a song, it is a declaration. It is a piece of music designed to sound truly alien, to feel as if it has traveled across galaxies to reach our ears. It begins with a familiar, haunting beauty, an aria from a classic opera, but it soon transforms into a breathtaking display of vocal gymnastics that seems to defy the very limits of human capability. This was not an accident. It was a deliberate choice by the filmmakers to create a moment so unique, so otherworldly, that it would leave a permanent mark on everyone who heard it. The goal was to present a sound that no human had ever made before. The impact of this scene was immediate and profound. It became a cultural touchstone, a moment that people talked about long after the credits rolled. The Diva Dance was more than just movie music. It was a puzzle, a challenge, a myth in the making. How was it created? Could a human actually sing it? These questions lingered, sparking curiosity and wonder. The sequence itself is a masterpiece of filmmaking, combining stunning visuals, elegant character design, and a powerful emotional core. But it is the music that elevates it to legendary status. It is a perfect fusion of the old and the new, the classical and the futuristic, the human and the seemingly impossible, creating a powerful testament to the creative spirit. This singular performance has since carved its own path in musical history. It has become a benchmark for vocal talent, a Mount Everest for singers who wish to test the boundaries of their own abilities. The story of the Diva Dance is not just about a movie scene. It is a story about artistic ambition, technological innovation, and the incredible potential of the human voice. It shows us what can happen when artists dare to dream of something that has never existed, and then find a way to bring that dream to life. It is a reminder that sometimes, to create something truly timeless, you must first be willing to attempt the impossible and challenge the very definition of what art can be. The task of creating the Diva's signature song fell to composer Éric Serra, a longtime collaborator of director Luc Besson. The directive was simple in concept yet monumental in its ambition: create a piece of music that sounded genuinely alien. It couldn't just be strange or dissonant, it needed to possess a beauty that felt both familiar and utterly foreign. Besson wanted a performance that would convince the audience that they were listening to a voice from another world, one not bound by the physical limitations of a human singer. This was more than a musical challenge. It was a world-building exercise, where sound had to tell a story of evolution, biology, and art from a distant star system. The music had to be the diva's soul, expressed in a way that resonated with human emotion while defying human explanation. Serra knew that simply using synthesizers or electronic effects would not be enough. That would sound artificial, not alien. The magic, he reasoned, lay in taking something genuinely human and pushing it beyond its natural frontiers. He decided to build the piece around a real operatic voice, but to write passages that no singer, no matter how skilled, could perform in a single take. He envisioned a composition filled with impossibly fast successions of notes and gigantic leaps in pitch that would require a lung capacity and vocal cord agility far beyond our species. The idea was to create a musical illusion, a sleight of hand that used the warmth and emotion of a human voice as its foundation, but then digitally manipulated it to achieve the impossible. This creative process was one of trial and error. Serra spent countless hours composing, experimenting with different melodic structures and rhythmic patterns. He studied the physical mechanics of singing to understand exactly where the human limits were, so he could deliberately write music that stepped over that line. He was not trying to mock or disrespect the human voice, he was trying to glorify it by imagining its next evolutionary step. The goal was to create a performance that was beautiful, thrilling, and on a subconscious level, slightly unsettling. The audience had to feel the strain, the sheer impossibility of what they were hearing, which would in turn reinforce the diva's otherworldly nature and her importance to the film's cosmic plot. Ultimately, Serra's vision was a perfect blend of artistic intuition and technical savvy. He understood that the most powerful alien effect would come from a sound that was tantalizingly close to human, yet just out of reach. By composing a piece specifically designed to be unsingable, he set the stage for a cinematic and musical moment that would be debated and admired for decades. His work on the Diva Dance was not just about scoring a scene, it was about inventing a new form of vocal expression, one that lived in the fascinating space between human talent and technological enhancement. It was a bold gamble that paid off, cementing the diva's performance as an iconic piece of cultural history. To ground his futuristic composition in a recognizable emotional reality, Éric Serra made a brilliant choice. He decided to begin the diva's performance with a piece from the classical opera canon. The song he selected was Il dolce suono, the famous mad scene from Gaetano Donizetti's 1835 opera, Lucia di Lammermoor. This aria is already a showcase of incredible vocal skill, known for its haunting melody and its demanding coloratura passages, which require the singer to perform intricate runs and trills. It tells the story of a woman lost in a world of grief and delusion, hearing the voice of her lost love. This choice was poetic, as the film's hero, Corbin Dallas, is mesmerized by the diva's song, creating a beautiful parallel between the classic opera and the futuristic sci-fi narrative. The performance begins with this piece of earthly human art. The diva Plavalaguna, an alien being, sings a song of human sorrow with breathtaking purity and grace. This initial segment serves a crucial purpose. It establishes her credibility as a performer of immense talent. We hear the soulfulness, the control, and the emotional depth in her voice, connecting with the music on a familiar level. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated beauty that lulls the audience into a state of reverence. By starting with Donizetti, Serra forges a bridge between the 19th century and the 23rd, showing that great art is timeless and universal, capable of moving hearts across any distance, whether of time or space. The classical foundation makes what follows even more shocking and impressive. Then, just as the audience is captivated by the familiar beauty of the opera, the music shifts. The orchestra fades, the rhythm changes, and the composition launches into the futuristic, pop-infused section known as the Diva Dance. The transition is seamless yet jarring, the tempo skyrockets and the diva's voice transforms from a classical instrument into a percussive electronic force. This is where Serra's vision of an impossible song truly comes to life. The melody becomes a dizzying, acrobatic sequence of notes that no human could sing in one continuous breath. It is a deliberate and stunning departure, signaling that we have left the realm of human opera and entered a new, uncharted territory of alien artistry. This fusion of styles is what makes the Diva Dance so revolutionary. It refuses to be categorized. It is opera, but it is also electronic dance music. It is classical, but it is also pop. It is ancient, but it is also futuristic. Serra's genius was in not just placing these two styles side by side, but in weaving them together into a single, cohesive performance. The initial aria gives the Diva Dance its emotional weight and artistic legitimacy, while the dance section gives it its otherworldly quality and raw, energetic thrill. Together, they create a musical journey that reflects the film's own eclectic spirit, a beautiful, strange, and unforgettable hybrid that broke the rules to create a legend. So, what exactly makes the Diva Dance so difficult, so impossible to sing? The answer lies in two key musical concepts that Éric Serra pushed to their absolute extremes: rapid-fire staccato notes and massive leaps in vocal register. In musical terms, staccato refers to singing or playing notes that are detached and short, creating a sharp, crisp sound. In the Diva Dance, the diva unleashes a torrent of staccato notes at a speed that is, honestly, mechanically inhuman. The human voice, which is a muscle, needs a fraction of a second to reset between notes. Serra's composition ignores this biological fact, demanding a pace and precision that sounds more like a programmed synthesizer than a person. It is a breathtaking flurry of sound that feels both exhilarating and physically unattainable. The second element is the song's dramatic use of register leaps. A singer's register refers to the range of their voice, from the lowest notes, chest voice, to the highest, which could be head voice or even whistle register. Moving between these registers smoothly, a technique known as legato, is a hallmark of a skilled singer. However, the Diva Dance demands something far more radical. The composition features enormous, instantaneous jumps between the lowest and highest parts of the vocal range, sometimes spanning more than 2 octaves in just a fraction of a second. For a human singer, navigating such vast intervals with speed and accuracy is, honestly, an Olympian feat. It requires perfect breath control and muscle coordination, and Serra wrote passages where these leaps happen so quickly that they kind of defy the physics of vocal production. To understand the challenge, one can visualize it. Imagine trying to sprint, and then, in the same motion without pausing, jump over a very high wall, and then land, and immediately sprint again, repeating this sequence dozens of times in under a minute. This is the vocal equivalent of what the Diva Dance demands. The song requires the singer to have the agility of a coloratura soprano, the power of a dramatic soprano, and the speed of a machine. The combination of these ultra-fast staccatos and massive rapid-fire leaps in pitch creates a soundscape that is thrillingly volatile. It is a musical tightrope walk performed during a hurricane, designed from the ground up to be a spectacle of superhuman ability. This intentional design is what separates the diva dance from other difficult vocal pieces. It was not written to challenge a singer, it was written to be an impossibility, a musical fiction. Éric Serra was not composing for a person but for a character, an alien with a different biology, a different set of vocal cords, a different way of breathing. By deconstructing the technical elements of the song, we can appreciate the sheer audacity of his creation. He took the building blocks of vocal music, pitch, speed, and rhythm, and reassembled them in a way that respected the rules of melody and harmony, yet shattered the rules of human performance. The result is a piece that remains a benchmark of creative ambition. To bring his impossible composition to life, Éric Serra needed a voice. But not just any voice. He needed a singer with exceptional talent. Someone whose voice could provide the raw, beautiful material for his digital masterpiece. He found that singer in the Albanian soprano Inva Mula. Mula was a highly accomplished opera singer, praised for her pure tone and impressive vocal agility. She was capable of singing the classical portion of the performance, Donizetti's aria, with the grace and emotion it required. However, even for a singer of her caliber, the futuristic diva dance section was, as designed, impossible to sing as written. The notes came too fast, and the jumps were just too wide to be performed in a single continuous take. This is where technology played the role of a digital maestro. Serra recorded Inva Mula singing the notes of the diva dance in short, manageable segments. He had her sing individual notes and small phrases that, on their own, were perfectly achievable. Then, in the studio, he painstakingly edited these vocal samples together. He cut, pasted, and stitched the individual notes into the rapid-fire sequences he had imagined. He digitally compressed the time between notes and seamlessly blended the different vocal registers to create the illusion of those impossible leaps. It was a meticulous process, more like assembling a complex mosaic than recording a song. Every note in the final piece is authentically Mula's voice, but the sequence and speed are the product of digital artistry. The on-screen performance was another layer of this carefully constructed illusion. The actress Maiwen Lebesco portrayed the diva Plava Laguna, and her physical performance was crucial to selling the fantasy. Maiwen, who was director Luc Besson's partner at the time, spent months preparing for the role. She studied the movements of opera singers and worked on developing a unique, graceful physicality that would feel both alien and elegant. During filming, she had to perfectly lip-sync to the complex, pre-recorded track, matching her expressions and gestures to the soaring emotions of the music. Her captivating performance, combined with the stunning costume and visual effects, made the audience believe that the voice they were hearing was truly emanating from this mesmerizing blue creature. The collaboration between composer, singer, actress, and technology was a perfect storm of creativity. Serra's ambitious composition provided the blueprint. Inva Mula's magnificent voice provided the soul, Maiwen's dedicated performance provided the body, and the digital editing tools of the studio provided the magic that fused it all together. The diva dance is therefore a powerful example of how technology can be used not to replace human talent, but to augment it, to expand its possibilities and create new forms of art that were previously unimaginable. It is a symphony of human skill and digital innovation, a testament to the idea that the artist's true instrument is their imagination. For years after it was released, the diva dance existed as a piece of cinematic mythology. It was widely believed to be truly impossible for any human to sing live, a beautiful fiction created by studio magic. The legend of its impossibility only added to its allure, making it a kind of holy grail for vocalists around the world. It represented the ultimate test of skill, a challenge that seemed to mock the very limits of the human body. Yet, where there is a challenge, there are always those brave enough to attempt it. Slowly, a new generation of singers, armed with phenomenal talent and fearless ambition, began to take on the diva dance, not as a digital puzzle, but as a live performance. One of the first singers to gain international fame for conquering the diva dance was Chinese superstar Jane Zhang. In a series of breathtaking live performances, she demonstrated that with incredible technique and control, a human voice could indeed replicate large portions of the song. Zhang's rendition became a viral sensation, showcasing her stunning whistle register, the highest possible vocal range, and her remarkable precision. While she may not have replicated every single note exactly as it was on the digitally edited soundtrack, Her performance was so astonishingly close that it shattered the myth of the song's impossibility. She proved that the line between human and superhuman was perhaps thinner than anyone had imagined. Another artist who took the challenge to a new level is the Kazakh singer Dimash Kudaibergen. Known for his astonishingly wide vocal range which spans over 6 octaves, Dimash made the Diva Dance a signature part of his repertoire. His performances are a spectacle of vocal athletics, as he effortlessly transitions from a deep baritone to a soaring soprano, hitting the song's high notes with power and clarity. Dimash not only sings the Diva Dance, he often embellishes it, adding his own flourishes and demonstrating a level of vocal freedom that leaves audiences speechless. His ability to tackle the song has further cemented its status as a benchmark for exceptional singers, and has introduced it to a new global audience. The efforts of singers like Jane Zhang, Dimash Kudaibergen, and others who have dared to perform the Diva Dance live are profoundly inspiring. They represent the human spirit's relentless drive to innovate and to push beyond perceived limitations. What was once created by a composer and a computer to be explicitly not human has now been reclaimed by human artists. These performances are more than just impressive vocal displays, they are a dialogue between art and artist, between the creator's intention and the performer's interpretation. They have transformed the Diva Dance from a piece of movie magic into a living, breathing part of our musical culture, proving that with enough talent, dedication, and courage, the impossible can sometimes become possible. More than a quarter of a century after its debut, the Diva Dance continues to fascinate and inspire. Its legacy extends far beyond the confines of film history, touching the worlds of music, technology, and performance art. It has become a cultural shorthand for something that is both beautiful and impossibly complex. The song endures not just because it is technically impressive, but because it captures a sense of wonder. It is a reminder of a time when a mainstream blockbuster film dared to be weird, artistic, and unapologetically bold. In an era of often predictable entertainment, the Diva Dance stands as a monument to creative risk-taking and the power of a truly original idea. The piece forever changed our perception of what is possible in vocal music, both on screen and off. It set a new precedent for the use of technology in vocal performance, demonstrating that digital tools could be used to create art that was not just polished, but genuinely transformative. By designing a song that was meant to be impossible, Éric Serra inadvertently threw down a gauntlet. He created a myth, and in doing so, he inspired a generation of real-life singers to become legends in their own right by chasing that myth. The story of the Diva Dance is no longer just about its creation, it is about its ongoing life in the hands of performers who continue to reinterpret it and push its boundaries. The influence of the Diva Dance can be seen in the way contemporary artists blend genres and experiment with vocal technology. It helped to popularize the idea of the classical crossover, where operatic techniques are fused with pop, electronic, and rock music. It broke down the invisible walls that often separate different musical worlds, proving that a 19th century aria and a futuristic dance track could not only coexist, but could create something more powerful together than they could apart. This spirit of fearless fusion continues to inspire musicians to experiment, to borrow from different traditions, and to create sounds that defy easy categorization, enriching our collective musical landscape. Ultimately, the Diva Dance is a celebration of the human imagination. It began as a dream in the mind of a director and a composer who wanted to hear something that did not exist. It was brought to life through the collaboration of a gifted singer, a talented actress, and innovative technology. And it was given a second life by a new wave of artists who refused to believe in the word impossible. The journey of this one piece of music is a powerful lesson in creativity. It teaches us that rules are meant to be challenged, that boundaries are made to be pushed, and that sometimes, the most enduring legends are born when someone dares to ask, what if, and then has the courage to create the answer. If you've been inspired by the story of the Diva Dance, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Opera Brownn for more journeys into the extraordinary world of music and performance. Your support helps us keep celebrating creativity, imagination, and the legends who dare to dream. Thank you for watching.
This is why you need to hear the Diva Dance. It's not just a song, it's a revolution in sound. Opera fans, get ready to rethink everything. When the Diva Dance hit the big screen, it shattered opera's boundaries. Mixing jaw-dropping vocals with a sci-fi twist, singers everywhere started experimenting, dreaming bigger, breaking rules. Even now, those impossible high notes inspire musicians and fans alike. The Diva Dance isn't just music, it's a challenge to imagine what's possible. Thanks for watching. This is Opera Brownn, where opera legends are reborn for a new world of listeners.